Hey everybody, Jason, 3D Pathfinder here for another little short video chronicling my entry into the world of 3D printing. Um, so I just watched a really interesting video from a gentleman named FauxHammer on YouTube. Some of y'all probably know who he is. He seems to be very much into the resin printing aspect of 3D printing, but his video was talking about user experience. Basically, he was highlighting user experience on his Bamboo X1 Carbon that was sent to him for review. And coming from my point of view, as brand new in this, I can definitely see exactly what he was talking about. His point was that although Bamboo is an excellent product, it's not 100% perfect and you're going to have failures and all that. Bamboo really focuses on the user experience of their machines that a lot of other brands don't really seem to focus that much on. Now, I agree with that because the setup of the Ender 3 that I got, it wasn't terribly complex or anything, but there was a lot of things to figure out in the beginning. I've had far more failed prints than I've had successful prints, and I recently just got a resin printer, the Halot or Halot, Halot. I don't know how you pronounce that either. Halot or Halot Mage, whatever, is from Creality. And just comparing the two from the resin printer versus the FDM printer, resin printer setup was so simple. Like literally unboxed it, took all the packing out of it, wasn't much assembly of any to do to it, turned it on, loosened some screws, flattened things out, tightened them down, and then poured some resin in it, and then I made my first print that same night, and it came out perfect. I'm printing another thing right now, something that was included on the USB, something called a Mage Berserker or something, but it's still got like 5 hours left on it or whatever, but it's printing perfect. It's printing fine. I've had at least a dozen failed prints on the FDM printer so far, and FauxHammer was really talking about how although making an excellent product and only being in the scene for I think a year or something, Bamboo Labs have been around or whatever, but even so new to the 3D printing world, they really seem to have come at it from a different aspect. They came at it from the aspect of the user experience to make the entry for the novice much easier to get into 3D printing than a lot of the other brands. And in his point he makes on his video is that all these other brands, they're making bigger, they're making faster, they're making hotter and all this kind of stuff, and that'll appeal to a certain market of 3D printer. But as far as making something accessible for people to get into, because it's quite, I had thought about 3D printing for years and I just never got into it because I was like, God, that just seems so damn complex to get into. And finally pulled the trigger, and I've had, I've bought the Ender 3 and was just said, you know what, I'm going to go with it. And I've already learned a bunch, but I know that there's still a ton of things that I don't know. I've reached out to the companies to see if they'd be interested in doing a collaboration or something, because I really wanted, with this relaunch of my old YouTube channel where I used to do vape reviews and then rebranded it to this 3D printing, I really wanted to take something from a complete novice point of view. Somebody literally unboxing their printer for the first time, never owning one, never printing anything, never running a slicer, never any of it. And I would, I'd love, hey, Bamboo, you listening, you see this video, or anybody sees this video that knows somebody there, I'd love to take in, just like FauxHammer's video, I'd love to have, not even an X1 Carbon, like their P1S or something that's fairly similar, just to document the user experience between the two. Um, and he talks about that the issues that he has had with his Bamboo printer, Bamboo already had, they make the accessibility to correct the problem very easy. Just a QR code pops up on the carbon, he scans it, boom, it takes you straight to what the problem is, step-by-step instructions, a video or even step-by-step written instructions, how to fix it, and boom, you're back up and running. And it's so that user experience right there really lowers the bar for entry into 3D printing. I think 3D printing has tremendous applications in the future. I almost see some type of futuristic version of a 3D printer almost being like a microwave in every home, to where we're more self-sufficient in the sense that we can, like a poor man's, a less Star Trek-y version of the replicator that they have on Star Trek, where they can make anything virtually. But FDM printing and 3D printing in general, it offers that to people, where you can either get into the business side, where you want to design things, make things, sell things. You want to make things for personal use. You want to make things to give for presents. You want to, whatever. There's so much that you can do in 3D printing. I wish, I'm a disabled vet, so I don't have I work a full-time job, but, money's tight out there, and not everybody can go lay down $1,500 on like a Carbon X1, and I'm sure it is 100% worth it. Everything I've seen, I'm sure it completely justifies that. So, hey, Bamboo, send me a printer. But anyway, but I'd love to showcase that side-by-side user experience from somebody that's only been doing this for a couple of weeks. That was the initial idea starting the channel, or getting back into the channel, was that I've seen a ton of other content creators, but they all seem to have come. Now, I've never gone back to like their original video, but they seem to have come to YouTube, for example, after they'd already been doing it a while, and then they started making videos and all that. I haven't seen a whole lot of this from, like I said, the brand new person, not knowing anything. Like, I know nothing, and there's a metric ton of things that I don't know. I'd like to learn 3D modeling and things like that, but right now it's just a hobby, things to do with my kids, my sons, to practical solutions to problems I have, make things for use, and stuff like that, and make videos just chronicling and showing others. But I really agree with FauxHammer. I won't say that the user experience so far with the Ender has been bad, but it is the learning curve is quite steep. Thankfully, there's groups out there, and there's you can usually, if you happen to know the right terminology, to search your problem, because once again, you don't know what you don't know. So if you call it something different, will that get you to the right answer, and hope that the answer you find is applicable to your printer, because every one of them is slightly different and they do things differently, so, but, the user experience, I think definitely other companies, and FauxHammer talks about it in his videos, they either need to get on board with making the user experience better, or in his opinion, he sees Bamboo continue to excel and get better and better, and the other companies are going to fall off into obscurity because they didn't want to take the time to make their printers more accessible, and have the user experience more streamlined, so that you can just print. Because a lot of people, I know there's people that have businesses with 3D printing, but a lot of people get into it as a hobby, and they just want the printer to work. They just want to make things. That's it. They don't want to have to be an electrical engineer, or a structural engineer, or a computer coding expert, or a 3D modeling expert. They just want to print things. They just want to make things, and some of that knowledge will come in time, but they got to stay with it first. But, to each his own. Some people will get highly discouraged, and then they'll get out of it, and then there's another secondhand 3D printer available cheap on the internet or whatever, and that might serve some people, but I definitely agree with his points on the user experience of 3D printing. Just in my little time, I can tell you that the user experience, like I said, on the resin printer has so far been a hell of a lot better than it has been on the Ender. Because I'm already making my second print. The first print, after slicing a resin model for the first time and then loading it into the printer, and it printed perfect. It wasn't anything spectacular. It was a thing called Magic Kitten off of Printable's website. My son wanted it. So, but it printed perfect, and now I'm printing this giant thing that's taking 18 hours to print, and it is coming out perfect. So, I already like that aspect. It's already making me want to lean more toward the resin side than the FDM side, but the FDM side offers possibilities that the resin side doesn't. Like if I really want to make functional things, then the FDM is the way you have to go, because I understand you can get resins that are stronger, but I don't know if there's any real resins that will ever have the same strength properties as like ASA or nylon or ABS or anything like that, or the infused filaments you can get with the carbon fiber and the metal infused filaments and stuff like that. But anyway, that's just what I wanted to talk about right here. I hope to get the production value of my videos up. Right now I'm just using what I've got, and I apologize. No fancy intros or music or anything, just me, just Jason, 3D Pathfinder. But if you're watching the video, I really appreciate it. Please give me a sub. It'll get better. Just hang in there with me. But anyway, just wanted to use that time to mention some things and do a little bit more chronicling. So thank you, and I appreciate your support. Bye-bye.